Hello, everybody, and welcome to Money Matters. If you like to make money, enjoy learning about crypto and other investment topics, please subscribe to the channel. If you enjoy the content, then hit that like button as well. Let's get into it. As usual, this channel is devoted to your financial freedom. And as a disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor, nor do I give financial or investment advice. If you do need such advice, please contact your local accredited investment advisor. All right, let's take a look at the markets. I'm pretty happy. Things are looking better in so much as they're stabilizing just a little bit. So we're going to talk about a couple of scenarios here, but Bitcoin is towards the upper end, close to 58, which is great. Remember, we're looking to break that $60,000 mark. Ethereum is just still holding right at 34, 35. So nothing happening there, which is good. Consolidation before the next liftoff, and we're going to talk extensively about Ethereum's next stopping point coming up here shortly. A couple of bright stars in the altcoins, which have started to really take off. I mean, like EOS and OMG, Bitcoin Cash, which is one of the winners today, as well as Cardano, which was kind of a surprise to me that they broke out of that 3-month consolidation phase, but they're having a very good run. So congratulations to both of those two coins. I'm happy to see it. We're still looking for alt-Cs to go all the way through. And that is predicated on what we kind of see in the market as a whole and Bitcoin with respect to its retracement. So have we already seen the bottom? Was that what we've already come out of and we're in a kind of a consolidated phase before we go on up? Or is there still a C leg down to where we're going to hit something like maybe 47 with Bitcoin and then work our way back up? The case could be made for both. And for altcoins, it really is a win either way. But if we could just consolidate at the upper level here, maybe about 50, 62, and let the altcoins keep pumping and then have a pullback into a retracement, I think that would lead to the higher highs that we've probably all been expecting this time around. But we have yet to see what's going to happen. There's been no indications of it either way. So we'll just have to sit back and wait. Let's take a look at the news. There's a couple of interesting topics. And this first one is Bitcoin is coming to hundreds of US banks this year, says crypto custody firm NYDIG. And this is good news for a lot of reasons. Number one, it's good news for banks, which I really could care less about, but they're worried about losing customers. They're seeing money flying out of people's accounts and going to Coinbase, Binance, or Kraken, or all these other exchanges, and they're panicking. This money is no longer in their possession. They have no control over it whatsoever, and they want to lock that stuff down. So they're partnering up and with building in the ability for customers to be able to use their own accounts to buy, sell, and hold crypto, which is great because that's a perfect on-ramp for people who don't want to have to go through the hassle of going through an exchange and sending identification stuff in or whatever hoops they have to jump through. Plus, it's familiar. They just go to their bank and they take care of it. I think that there's going to be a huge learning curve when it comes to distributing this type of service to customers, not only on the customer part, but for the banks and their employees and the people who are going to be servicing these customers. So it should be interesting. It's an on-ramp. It'll definitely allow a lot more money to go into cryptocurrency, and especially Bitcoin and Ethereum and some of the larger cap coins. I haven't heard whether they're going to be able to have all coins available. In other words, if they're going to act as a whole exchange, or if it's just going to be a select few, like something on the order of what Grayscale does with their different funds. I don't know how the structure of it's going to be yet, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Any way that we can have more access to being able to buy, sell, and hold for regular folks is a good thing as far as I'm concerned. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. But again, banks don't want to see all their customers leaving, and they certainly don't want to see all their money leaving. I also thought this was kind of cool too. They said that they're working on, in addition to like debit card rewards and Bitcoin and stuff like that, the idea of having a FDIC insured account and the interest is paid in Bitcoin. I'm not really sure how that works. I'm not sure if your Bitcoin or if your crypto is going to be insured, or how, if they're just talking about insure or the interest on it or what. But it'll be interesting to see how these two worlds collide and meld together to form some sort of a laundry list of products for customers to use. So we'll have to wait and see again how that turns out. But again, I've referred to this before. Exchanges are going to become commoditized. There's going to be so many places that you're going to be able to buy, sell, and hold crypto that they're not going to be special. I think that that's why you see Coinbase just branching out into so many different things. We'll probably see most of the other larger, even smaller ones start to delve into other services outside of their normal channels so that they can ensure long-term financial viability. Okay, let's talk about Ethereum. The next stop, which is the road to 5,200. I use 5,200 because that's the average number that I keep coming up with. But according to Ethereum's logarithmic regression rainbow, which is always a pretty thing to look at, the resistance band 5, which was about $2,800, and we were eyeballing that forever as a ceiling we couldn't break through. Well, we've broken through it, we've maintained through it, and it's now turned into a floor. I had marked it about 2,900, but anywhere between 28 and 2,900, I think you could say is a safe retracement level for Ethereum. So there's going to be pullbacks as we move forward. There's no doubt about it. It's inevitable. Nothing can go up straight up for the whole time. It's going to have pullbacks, consolidation, people making profits, and whatever. So I would imagine that we will see a pullback somewhere around $2,800, $2,900 before we start to move back up. And I think that probably the $5,000 mark, in my estimation, is going to correlate a little bit with the July release, but I think it's going to get here before then. In fact, somewhere between the end of June, mid-July, we should see the $5,200 mark made. Again, at the end of the year, by the end of the year, I'm looking at 7,800, and my outlook becomes more and more bullish in the future and higher as time goes by. I think there's still a lot of things that have to happen, but Ethereum is definitely on track to be a force to be reckoned with. There's no doubt about that. So my guess would be somewhere around, like I said, end of June, mid-July to see this 5,200. You can see on the band here where we're still a little bit low. There's a lot of room to grow based on historical trends that we've had in the past. There's a lot of room to break out. And I think, again, we'll start with this $5,200 or $5,000 plateau, move up to 78, and then probably somewhere around 12 after that. So let's look at some of the things that are kind of attributing to this. So the first one, and we've talked about this before, is supply and demand. I mean, the fact that institutional investors have come in, and if you look at the chart here, the dark purple line is the availability of Ethereum on exchanges for trade. You can see it's just been dropping and dropping and dropping faster and faster, as a matter of fact. And you can also see that the number of wallets that are being created for Ethereum has risen dramatically. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means that people are creating wallets. They're pulling they're pulling Ethereum off of exchanges and putting them in their wallets for cold storage. They're hodling them. They're going to keep them. They're going to wait until they go up in value and price. And if it's like anything like Bitcoin, most people are looking to hold for a very, very long time. I'm not selling my Ethereum nor my Bitcoin anytime soon. I will be dabbling in, alt seasons forever, at least until they're not profitable anymore. But any profits, or a lot of the profits that I have, will be returned back into my ongoing investments within or holdings within Ethereum and Bitcoin, which a lot of people are doing. I thought it was interesting too that we're seeing kind of records being made with the amount of Ethereum that's on exchanges, and I think that's going to get quite a bit lower in the next few months, and that's going to help to drive up that price, because remember, supply goes down, demand goes up, price goes up. So we should be looking for that. The other thing that I kind of thought was funny was I've read in quite a few places that on this bottom line here where it says that people are rotating into ETH from Bitcoin. Well, we did a video almost entirely on the money cycle for crypto, and the natural progression is to go from fiat to Bitcoin. Once Bitcoin kind of levels out and consolidates, drop into Ethereum, take the profits up, and then start to move into some other altcoins. And don't forget that Ethereum is still considered an altcoin by most, not by me. I think it's on its own, but it still runs with the altcoin. So when money starts coming out of Bitcoin, it goes into Ethereum and then trickles down into the other altcoins. So let's talk about what factors might be in play to help this price go up so quickly and so high. And you can't put enough emphasis on the upgrades that are coming for Ethereum. They're important for functional reasons, and they're important for psychological reasons for customers and developers alike. And we're going to talk a little bit about developers here too. But over the next couple of months, we're going to be moving into 1559, and there's a couple of really important features within that release that are leading us up into the actual London hard fork, which is where we're really going to start to see the fur fly. One of the issues that has kind of plagued Ethereum for some time is the sheer volume of tokens or coins that are available. And with 1559, they're going to be introducing a burn mechanism that'll destroy some Ethereum used to pay with associated transaction fees. So that's going to help reduce some of the supply, which is going to be better for pricing, because this demand is high and the supply is low, the price is going to go up. So that's going to actually help the story for the price going up, which is an interesting byproduct. That wasn't the intent of it, of course, but that is what's going to happen. But let's look a little bit further, because there's some interesting things that are kind of behind the scenes that are going to help as well. And they're a little more subtle. So Ewasm to replace EVM. Let me explain. So on the technical side of Ethereum, the development side, because remember, Ethereum is a utility. You build stuff on top of it. Well, who builds stuff? Developers. Developers go in and they create programs that do things for people like you and me. So currently they use their Ethereum virtual machine, which is, it's kind of like a sandbox or a development area where they use that they use to develop their smart contracts. And there's limitations to that. So with this new Ewasm, and I think that's how people are terming it. I haven't heard anybody actually say it before, but the cool thing is that programmers can choose different languages to write their contracts or their programs on the blockchain. And so what happens with that? So, well, you don't have to learn a specific language. You can use C++, C, Rust, several different things. It's not as expansive as like Python or things like that, but it's still a pretty good list. And there's a lot of developers in those realms that'll be able to actually use their skill set to create things on smart contracts and programming for other companies or businesses or projects on the Ethereum network. So with it being easier to develop and not having to have a special language, that broadens the base for developers. There's going to be a lot more developers who can write programs for Ethereum. Well, more developers means more projects, which means more customers, which means more money. So if you compare, like, for example, and I can't tell you, I think EOS would probably be the closest competitor to Ethereum logically, but Cardano is mentioned consistently, even though they can't do smart contracts yet. And I love Cardano, don't get me wrong, but the number of developers between Ethereum and Cardano is staggering, and this will propel it even further. So this is another good thing that will help the price, because again, more developers, more projects, more customers, more money. So it's going to affect the price in a positive way. And again, we're going to see this a little bit sooner, I think, than later. In fact, I almost hesitate to say this, but I've heard that the date's been pushed up for 2.0 to somewhere closer to this year than next year. And I mean by the end of this year. So I don't know if that's true or not. In fact, I heard, testnet or something coming out in August, but I don't know. We'll see. That's a little close to the July release, but then again, maybe they've already put a lot of stuff in place and it's going really, really well, and they're going to be able to jump the gun. If that happens, hold on to your socks because 12,000 to be here way sooner than what I would anticipate. That's for sure. All right, let's do a little recap. We covered quite a bit of stuff here. Most of it was Ethereum, but we'll go over it anyway. Bitcoin and Ethereum are holding in their upper price ranges, which is great. There's a consolidation phase. The good part of that is that money is still flying into altcoins and they're performing very, very well. I think we're probably about maybe a third of the way to where we need to go before it starts to take off. US banks are looking to offer customers a new way to buy, sell, and hold crypto so that they don't lose their customers and have to close down. Ethereum is poised for 5,000, I think, fairly easily, and it's going to piggyback off of the kind of the 59 or 1559 implementation and some of the components that are held within that, and the kind of byproducts of what's happening too. We talked about developers. So when 2.0 and everything is folded in, there's going to be a lot of factors, not just directly affecting the price, but affecting the ecosystem so that the price is driven up. High demand, low supply, price clearing resistance. There's a ton of things going for Ethereum right now. I truly believe that this weekend is going to be an interesting one. I don't know if it's going to be scary, but I think there's going to be some very major price swings this weekend. I don't know when or particularly why, but I think that people are kind of getting a little stir crazy. They're waiting for something to happen and it's not. So typically when people get like that, they tend to do things like sell. So if something happens like that, we could see some price dropping and see some pretty scary stuff going on. But I wouldn't really worry too much about it because we should, again, consolidate very, very quickly and start moving back up. We have a lot of upward pressure. And even if we went into a bearish scenario for 2 or 3 weeks, it wouldn't be the worst thing to happen. Again, it would just give us some additional time for alt season to take off and to gather up some additional momentum. And if we do see a big pullback in Bitcoin and Ethereum, we probably will see a similar percentage-wise pullback in the altcoins. However, the recovery would be pretty quick, kind of like this last recovery. What was it, 2 weeks or something? We went for, well, that was like a 33% average drop, and we recovered fully and then went on from there. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Don't get stressed. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think the timetable is to hit 5,000 for Ethereum. And if you think that it is indeed tied to these releases coming up, or if you think that there's other factors that might contribute to that. And if you think it's just complete nonsense, let me know that as well, because I would be interested in hearing that too. Scammers beware. Always be vigilant, protect your identity. Once it's stolen, you've got problems. So trust me, it's easier to take care of business on the forefront. And last but not least, winners never quit, and quitters never win. Always give your very best effort to overcome the challenges that you face in life. I had a great day, and I hope you had a great day too. I will see you tomorrow.